Coming up on Mornings on the Hill, a special deal for beloved Orange mascot Otto.
And the debates for the next Syracuse mayor have begun. How did last night's debate go, and what's coming next?
And Argentinian President Javier Milei visited the White House yesterday after Argentina received a lifeline of $20 billion from the U.S. Good morning, I'm Alex Grondin. Thanks for joining us for Mornings on the Hill.
And I'm Madison Diaz. Here's a look at today's top story.
Otto the Orange became the first mascot to sign a name, image, and likeness, or NIL deal. Otto signed the deal on Tuesday and was joined alongside mascot coach Julie Wallace. SU football punter Jack Stonehouse presented Otto with their jersey. This deal is a part of the Mascot Mania jersey collection. The jerseys are sold on the NIL store and earnings support NIL deals for SU football players and the Orange mascot program.
And the race for the Syracuse mayor has started. 4 candidates faced off in their first general election debate last night. Our Gabriella Peniston has more on the most important moments from the debate.
Right, we did have a debate last night. There's nothing, but yeah. Well, in other, we did have 4 of our candidates debating last night here in Syracuse. We do have another debate that's going on soon at the university in itself, but we will have one of our reporters, Luke Radel, who's going to be telling us more about what's going to go on with that debate. But last night we did have 4 of our candidates, and the debate went pretty smoothly overall. A lot of things did happen during the debate. There were a little bit of tension between the candidates simply because of differences in political opinions and, of course, what's going on with Syracuse in itself. But they also spoke about their opinions when it comes to the President of the United States, Donald Trump. So now Sharon Owens faced repeated attacks from her opponents who believe the city needs a major shift away from the current administration under Mayor Ben Walsh.
I think that we know that Ben Walsh is a product of the structure of Central New York and that he manages the status quo. And Sharon Owens has been his deputy for the last 8 years. She is a manager and administrator of the status quo, and they're not good at it.
Multi-civil, but things got tense when Owens and Rude went back and forth over whether to revalue the city property to make taxes more fair. Rudd accused the Walsh administration of not being honest with residents, but Owens pushed back, defending her integrity and blaming the Common Council for halting the project. The candidates also showed sharp divisions on their views of the current president, Donald Trump. Babylon praised Donald Trump's recent foreign policy movements, while Davis criticized his records on Gaza. Owens called the release of Israeli hostages a positive step, but condemned Trump's decision to deploy the National Guard into U.S. cities. On the city's budget deficit, Babylon said the current administration has been wasteful, while Rudd promised to cut what he called do-little jobs in city government. Owens said she reduced vacant positions and work more closely with the Common Council, while Davis argued the city should rely less on outside contractors.
Thanks, Gabriella. That's right. We are so excited to have folks here at the National Veterans Resource Center on 101 Waverly Avenue for our Citrus TV Town Hall debate this Monday, October 20th. Doors open at 6 p.m. and the debate starts at 6:30. Special live coverage will be on our YouTube channel starting at 6:20. All 4 candidates have agreed to attend. Democrat Sharon Owens, Republican Thomas Babylon, Independent candidates Alfonso Davis and Timothy Rudd. They'll be here to take your questions. We're going to be soliciting questions from the audience, including SU students as well as members of the community. We can't wait to have folks out as early voting starts on Saturday, October 25th. We can't wait to see you all here for our Citrus TV Town Hall debate. Sending it back to you guys in studio. For Mornings on the Hill, I'm Luke Radel.
Thanks so much, Luke. Now, let's check in on what you can expect as you head out the door this morning. Our weather reporter, Victoria Daly, is outside.
Good morning, Central New York. Before you leave your house today, be sure to grab a jacket. I clearly did not take my own advice. We are just reaching 50 degrees now here, but around 1 p.m. we will be reaching a high of 55 degrees, and the sun will be fully out at that time. And you can see my hair is going. It is windy out. We're going to reach winds as high as 5 miles per hour today. But, you know, talking about the sun, the temperatures, once the sun sets tonight around 6:20, the temperature is going to drop, not just to the 40s, but to a low of 37 degrees tonight. But while you're out and about today, it's sure to be a crisp and calm fall day. So be sure to grab some cider, some hot chocolate, some hot tea, some hot coffee on your way to work or class. But be sure not to go anywhere, because coming up on Mornings on the Hill, your full weather forecast in studio. Back to you guys.
Victoria, thank you so much. Now, airports all across the country, including Syracuse Hancock International, are refusing to play a new video from Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem that blames Democrats for the ongoing government shutdown. TSA asked airports to show the message near security lines, but many airports said no, arguing it breaks the rules against political content and could even violate the Hatch Act, which bans government employees from pushing partisan messages. Noem's videos claim Democrats are to blame for the government shutdown. Meanwhile, TSA workers continue doing their jobs without pay.
And National Grid is preparing upstate New Yorkers for higher winter energy costs with new assistance programs and energy-saving tools. The company says average natural gas bills could rise about 10% this winter due to market prices and delivery costs. To help offset that, National Grid is offering flexible payment plans, bill discounts for low-income households, and free home energy assessments through state programs. Customers can also get personalized energy-saving tips and sign up for budget billing to spread costs evenly throughout the year.
Syracuse police are investigating a homicide from last night. Police say an unidentified 40-year-old man was shot in the head, arms, and back on Midland Avenue last night near West Brighton Avenue. The man died at Upstate University Hospital. Those with information should contact the Syracuse Police Department. And we'll be right back with more. Welcome back to Mornings on the Hill. President Donald Trump hosted Argentinian President Javier Milei for a bilateral meeting yesterday. With more details is our reporter Alec Harashim. Alec?
Thanks, guys. While the administration does not call this a bailout, it doesn't change the fact that during a government shutdown, we are giving Argentina $20 billion to stabilize their economy. Argentina has defaulted under debt 9 times, which calls into question the rationale behind the decision. Secretary of the Treasury Scott Bessent completed the deal last Thursday. Trump has framed the decision as ensuring economic prosperity for the region.
We want to see it succeed. It's very simple. I mean, we don't have to do it. It's not going to make a big difference for our country, but it will in terms of South America. If Argentina does well, you're going to have others following, and a lot of others are following.
Trump also threatened to pull the assistance if the Argentinian elections later this month don't favor President Milei's administration. The deal has drawn criticism, especially during a government shutdown, with U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren saying this is Argentina first, not America first. Argentina is also a competitor with the U.S. in soybean exports. This has been hurting soybean farmers here, as China has been buying up Argentinian soybeans because of Trump's tariffs. There are no other conditions on the deal, leading to some saying that this is a gift to a loyal partner and not a strategic deal. For Mornings on the Hill, I'm Alec Harashim. Back to you guys.
Alec, thank you so much. Israel and Hamas have moved forward on the first step of the Gaza ceasefire agreement. All living Israeli hostages were returned Monday, along with 4 deceased. Another 4 bodies were returned yesterday, although the Israeli military says one of those bodies was not that of a hostage. The remaining 21 are supposed to be turned over as part of the first phase, which also requires Israel to allow a surge of food and humanitarian aid into Gaza. Israeli authorities say that the amount of trucks allowed into the enclave will be delayed due to the limited number of deceased hostages released so far.
And the U.S. government has revoked visas for at least 6 foreign nationals accused of posting online comments about conservative activist Charlie Kirk, who was killed last month during a campus event. The State Department says it's continuing to identify others, arguing that foreigners who express hostility toward Americans don't have a right to stay in the country. Critics call the move an attack on free speech, saying it punishes people for their opinions rather than their actions. The decision comes the same week as President Trump posthumously awarded Kirk the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
And ChatGPT is getting a major update that impacts content generated by adult users. OpenAI chief Sam Altman says the artificial intelligence will now be able to generate erotic content for verified adult users. Altman says the decision to treat adult users like adults, the AI is already planning on easing other restrictions in December. Now time to check in on your weather for today.
Victoria Daly is in studio with a look at your full weather forecast.
Thanks, guys. Welcome back into weather. Let's take a look at our current conditions outside. Like I just said, we are in that low 50 range, but it's feeling a little colder outside, around 46 degrees. And this is going to be a current theme throughout the day. And I said outside when we saw my hair going, the wind is around 5 miles an hour. But let's look about the conditions for tomorrow, or for the rest of today. As I said, it was in the 40s this morning. At around noon, we're going to have that high 56 degrees. In the evening for tomorrow, 44 degrees. And at night, we're going to drop down into 36. So very similar conditions between today and tomorrow. And let's look at the rest of our 5-day forecast for the week. On Friday, it's going to be very similar conditions to today and tomorrow, but the weekend is when it sets in the rain. And if you want a fun activity to do inside, you don't have to travel far. You can go to Cazenovia, as there is the International Syracuse Film Festival, which is taking place at the Catherine Cummings Theater. And for runners, they're in luck, as the Great New York State Marathon is taking place Sunday morning, and the rain's going to come later on in the day. So hopefully they will not have to be in the rain while running that race. But taking us out of Syracuse, let's look at the weather around us. As we said, Syracuse today is reaching a high of 55 degrees. But then if we travel over to Buffalo, Buffalo is getting around the high of 59 degrees, but the lowest is going to be in Watertown today. But as we said, like, the degrees are going to be between the 55, 56 mid range. But back to you guys in studio.
Victoria, always a pleasure. Coming up on Mornings on the Hill, Aja Wilson broke records and now sits atop the greats.
Our sports anchor Sydney Coulier has more after the break.
Am I the only one who values Heat as a cinematic masterpiece? This is truthfully one of the best movies I've seen in a long time.
Easily top 10 animated movies of all time.
Hey, I'm Truman.
I'm Ro, and this week we're reviewing Lisa Frankenstein.
What's up, movie lovers? I'm Dylan.
And I'm Jake. And today we're going to be reviewing Madam Web.
Hey everybody, I'm Gabe.
And I'm Dylan.
And it is the 2024 Review Crew Academy Awards Extravaganza. Woo!
Rise and shine, everyone. I'm Sydney Coulier with sports here on Mornings on the Hill. In every sport, you have three types of players. You have your role players, your game changers, and if you're lucky, you may play alongside those who will forever be regarded as a legend. A'ja Wilson has now solidified her spot as arguably the greatest women's basketball player of all time, after the Aces dog-walked the Phoenix Mercury for their third NBA championship. Now, if I were to read off a full list of accomplishments during her career thus far, this would easily run for an extra 10 minutes. But just to give you a taste so you can truly understand the level in which she's operating on, A'ja has the most WNBA MVP spanning from 2020 to 2025. She led the now powerhouse South Carolina to its first ever NCAA championship in 2017. She has multiple Olympic and FIBA gold medals, and she is one of the few players in history to win MVP, Finals MVP, and Defensive Player of the Year in the same season. Oh, and she's a three-time WNBA champion in the face of the first team to win back-to-back titles in almost 20 years. So yeah, we're not just witnessing greatness here. We're watching a complete legacy being written in real time. And while A'ja's legacy is already written in bold, over on the gridiron, the Orange's story is still being drafted. With the upcoming game against Pitt on the horizon, our Troy Jun has more on how the new starting QBs match up against this Saturday's contest.
Thanks, Sydney. Pitt was staggering after two losses in a row against Power 4 competition. In West Virginia and Louisville, those two games combined, the Panthers were combined 5 for 27 on third down and struggled to finish drives overall. A spark was needed, and so their head coach, Pat Narduzzi, made the bold decision to bench his starting quarterback, Eli Holstein, and hand the keys to a true freshman in Mason Heinschel, a high-end three-star recruit out of Oregon. Both him and Ricky Collins have started just 2 games in their careers, and both were thrusted into starting role in different circumstances, but the stats could not be more different. Heinschel has thrown for 6 touchdowns to just 2 interceptions for 640 yards in his 2 starts. Compare that to Ricky Collins, who has 1 touchdown and 4 interceptions in 2 starts for 508 yards. Heinschel has shown the ability to bail out of bad pockets, a willingness to throw the ball downfield, and has just made the smart plays more often than not. Oh, and he just went into Tallahassee last weekend to take down a then-ranked Florida Seminoles team. Something that Ricky Collins has had the ability to do, everything with the athleticism to his accuracy downfield, but he hasn't shown it yet. It's been a completely two different tales at quarterback for both these teams, but fortunes can change with just one game, a primetime game this Saturday at 7:30. Sydney, back to you.
The wait is over. NBA preseason has returned in this last night and giving fans their first look at teams back in action. The Houston Astros pulled out a thriller, edging the Pelicans 130 to 128 behind Aaron Holiday's dagger with just 1.8 seconds on the clock. Jabari Smith Jr. led Houston with 26 points in limited minutes, while Amen Thompson added 21 and Tari Eason dropped 20. Over in Portland, Steph Curry was with the shots for real with 28 points in just 7 minutes, guiding the Warriors to a 118-111 preseason win over the Portland Trailblazers. On the schedule were also matchups like Memphis versus Charlotte, the Raptors versus the Celtics, the Clippers versus the Kings, and the Mavericks versus Lakers. Preseason might not count in the win column when it comes to April, but these showdowns already are shining a light on the depth, momentum, and who might be peeking under the hood before the real season tips off. Moving back to the 315 Live this morning, our Ryan Story is in studio with insight on how the Orange's men's soccer fared against SMU. Ryan.
Thanks, Sydney. Syracuse football may not have had success against SMU in its recent matchup, but on the soccer pitch, it was a wildly different story. The SU men's soccer team hosted 25th ranked SMU this past Saturday, and the Mustangs found themselves on the run, caught in an orange stampede. Well, this stuffed animal might not be able to run, but the Q certainly got its cardio in during the clash. In a match that remained scoreless for a majority of the first half, Syracuse finally got its first shot on goal over 42 minutes into the contest. There's freshman Landon Darko capitalizing on the weak pass. That's just Darko's second goal of the season. Then, in the second half, a deep boot from keeper Tomas Hutt, sophomore Chimere Omeze with a header, a shot by Carlos Zambrano, Odell for the stop, not quite. The senior midfielder gives SU a 2-0 lead it wouldn't relinquish as the Orange knock off the Mustangs. Fun fact, those 2 shots on goal were the only 2 shots on goal the Qs had all day. This was a big win for the Orange, their first ranked win over a ranked opponent, and it put Syracuse above 500 in ACC play. SU has now shut out 4 straight conference foes. Right now, Syracuse is enjoying a week-long break before taking on Pitt this Saturday at 7. Yes, you will have to choose which game you put on the main TV between football and men's soccer. They'll be taking place at the same time. I guess that's what the multi-screen feature is for. The Panthers are still winless against ACC competition, so the Orange will be looking to add on to their 4-game hot streak. Pitt has not taken down the 'Cuse since a double overtime clash back in 2021. That bout also took place in Pittsburgh. If the Orange could lasso the Mustangs, maybe they'll be able to slay the Panthers as well. Back to you, Sydney.
So that is it for Orange Sports, and there is still more to come here on Mornings on the Hill. Our Anton Cox has everything in the world of entertainment and that and more. Just ahead.
Welcome back to Mornings on the Hill. I'm Anton Cox. Tributes are pouring in this morning as the music industry mourns the loss of singer-songwriter D'Angelo. Best known for hits like Brown Sugar and Lady, artists from across the eras are expressing the influence left on them and the legacy he leaves behind. On her website, Beyoncé remarked that D'Angelo was a, quote, pioneer of neo-soul that changed and transformed rhythm and blues forever. Lauryn Hill, who collaborated with him in her hit Nothing Even Matters, took to Instagram to write that his work, quote, moved us, stirred us, inspired, and even intimidated others to action. The R&B icon passed away Tuesday following a battle with pancreatic cancer. He was 51. In the courtroom, a New York federal judge officially threw out Drake's defamation suit against Universal Music Group. Back in January, the Canadian rap star sued his record label over their promotion of Kendrick Lamar's May 2024 single, Not Like Us. Drake's legal team argued that the song's lyrics and cover art hurled allegations that brought real-world danger to him, encouraging, quote, vigilante justice in response. In the dismissal, however, Judge Jeanette Vargas wrote that the context of the song's release was a key part of her decision. She says that as Lamar's song came in a, quote, heated rap battle with accusations hurled by both participants, Not Like Us could not be viewed as containing verifiable facts and therefore wasn't legally defamatory. Drake's team has already announced their intention to appeal the ruling. Actor Tim Curry is back in the spotlight. 50 years after his career-defining role in the Rocky Horror Picture Show, the 79-year-old star is out with a new memoir. Titled Vagabond, Curry touches on his life and career, detailing the experiences from his biggest roles and the lessons he learned from it. Curry also opens up on more delicate topics, from a prior substance abuse issue to a 2012 stroke that left him partially paralyzed. Back in September, Curry made a surprise appearance at an anniversary screening of Rocky Horror, where he reunited with co-stars Barry Bostwick and Patricia Quinn, among others. And finally this morning, one of America's most iconic game shows is coming to Central New York. That's right, The Price is Right Live, a touring version of the 53-year-old institution, will stop by Utica in April next year. Just like the program that airs on TV, the show offers audience members a chance to play games like Plinko and potentially walk away with some cash. Tickets went on sale over the weekend, so if you want your chance to spin the wheel, plan accordingly. Alex, Madison, back to you.
Thank you so much, Anton. That is going to do it for us this Wednesday here on Mornings on the Hill. You know, but before we go, Halloween is just about 2 weeks away. Alex, what do you have prepared for Halloween?
You know, I love hockey, I love golf, and I love Happy Gilmore. So I would love to go as Happy Gilmore. What about you?
I'm planning Astrid from How to Train Your Dragon and Lola Bunny.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on Mornings on the Hill. I'm Alex Grondin. Make sure to follow us on social media.
And I'm Madison Diaz. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Welcome to Live from Studio B.
Welcome to another episode of Culturally and Technically Legal.
Previously on Survivor.
Welcome back to the Esports Juice Box, where we break down this week's esports news into digestible sizes for easy consumption.